You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Well, man, this is your boy Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. And today, we got a party brewing, baby, literally, because I'm going to be hanging out with the Home Brewed Comics crew. Well, at least just two of them. That's right. This is a dynamic duo. The return guests, they're back because they're going to be spilling the tea, if you will, on all things new projects, pages, and pure creative chaos. All right. From behind the panels madness to frontline indie grind, this squad's been on a mission, and we're going to do a dive deep into this. So grab your mug, all right, pour that brew, and get ready to stir the pot with the Home Brewed Comics team of the one and only Dan Price and Chris. Hello, what's up, fellas? How you doing?
Omega, what's up, dude? How you doing, man?
On? I'm doing good. What, even Danny's in the building. A big salute. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for you guys joining today. I'm excited. Man, you guys really are stirring the pot. Ain't no bullshit, man. When I got that little press kit, I said, oh, my God. These guys ain't playing, man. Indie goodness is going to be assaulting our very senses, folks. Holy shit. We're going to be rocking out. This is going to be fun. All right, but first we got to do a little bit of catching up. Wonderful return guest, which has been here before, and we, politics, if you will. So let's go. Right, it's been a minute. What's been steaming in the Home Brewed Comics kettle since the last appearance? And I'll start here with Chris, the one that came late. I like the one that ill prepared. Let's go.
I had to reset my entire computer to get on this thing. It hates my camera, my microphone, and everything else I have going, apparently. But what's been going on is, I brought in, Dan Price and Drew Lenhart from Snowy Work. Sorry, my brain's not working yet. And that we just recently brought in Dennis, who publishes the Celestial Knight. So what we've done in the past 6 months really is expand the brand and try to bring everybody in one big uniform, one home for everybody, no pun intended, under Home Brewed. All of us have been working in tandem with each other for a long time. All of us have been moving in the same directions for a long time. And what better way to succeed than doing it together? And, we all have different talents. We all have different things that we have experience with. And the thought process I had when I went to Drew initially was, hey, Drew's good at this. I'm good at this. Let's pool our talents together and see what we can do. And I just happened to be on the phone with Dan one day, and he showed some interest in doing marketing. So I brought him on. And we all love Dennis. And we're going to announce his spot on the team pretty soon. He's here. We just haven't given him a fancy title yet. But really, it's about bringing in.
This is not a show for the titleless, all right? If you don't have a title, you can't.
He's titleless right now. So he has no purpose yet. We need to find a purpose for it. But the big thing about any creative outlet, you've got to have a solid team, and you've got to be moving together. You've got to. You can't do it alone. You can. It's just really freaking hard, and that's how most people get burned out. Is the constant, because you become your own marketing, your own creator, your own writer, your own publisher, your own everything. And there are days like today, where there's 4 of us, 2 of us make it on the show, and 2 of us can't. Well, tomorrow I'm leaving for California, and somebody else is going to take my spot. But we're still promoting the same books. We're still getting the message out there. And every book is a homebrewed book, not a Drew book, not a Chris book, not a Dan book. I think that's what's important is we're bringing a unified approach to independent comics.
Wonderful. All right, Dan, what you been up to, man? And did he feel about the promance where you're looking for some extra side gig work, and that's how you landed the opportunity?
Yeah, no, hey, You know, shit works out the way it's supposed to work out, Al. I think that's just kind of how it goes, right?
Yeah, man.
You know, it is you know, for me, it's just been an awesome experience getting, you know, going through indie comics, coming back to indie comics after so many years being away. And when I came back in, you know, Chris was one of the guys that I initially started talking with, and you know, and watching him and Drew and Dennis and all the stuff that they're doing, it was pretty, you know, it was inspiring, number one, and number two, you know, made me, you know, let's go kick some fucking ass, right? Part of my language, right? But and so connecting with them, you know, we're all very like-minded in the way that we're all very driven. We're all very driven creators, and we have a, you know, bit of business sense between, you know, the three of us. You know, that's it works out well that way. I think that, you know, being able to split duties and use our expertise the way we can, you know, something different to the table. You know, it's helping us definitely do things that, I mean, frankly, that I wouldn't do by myself because I just don't have the manpower, the time, the energy, whatever.
It's the village, baby, and you guys built your own.
Exactly, and you know, and that's the thing. You know, I mean, let's do it. Let's do it by our rules. Let's do it by, you know, how we feel comfortable. You know, not trying to fall in line with, you know, a publisher that, you know, they have demands of this, that, and the other. This is very much, you know, while everybody takes pride in all the books that we're putting out as individual creators, we still have control over our IPs completely. That's huge. You know what I mean? But we all are rooting for each other. We're all fighting for each other. We're all marketing for each other. We're all in it together. And, you know, if Chris or Drew or Dennis have success, that's success for all of us. And, you know, I know Chris agrees with me on this. You know, it's indie comics. We're all in this shit together, right?
Yep.
You know,
100%.
But the thing is, you know, you find your people.
We're in the same bathroom, not the same stall, just to clarify.
Right. There you go. But you know, while you're doing it and you are in it all together, that's true. But you find your group. You know, you find your folks that, you know, you can truly work with. And it's not a slog, man. It's awesome. I mean, it's just we work together so well, and it's the dream situation, frankly.
Love it. So how has your creative powers evolved since the last time you were on the show?
Me? Yeah. Oh, well, you know, I mean, look at that sleight of hand. No, how's my creative how has my creative powers, you know, evolved? You know what? I'm going to shoot back to the teamwork thing we were talking about before, but in a different direction. You know, I work with Casey Allen, my co-writer on the main series, Bigfoot Knows Karate. And we, you know, since the last time I saw you, we put out Hinagon, which was a Casey driven project. You know, he really took the helm on writing Hinagon. And, you know, I helped him, but like that was Casey's baby. And so, and with Adam Caswell doing the artwork, well, now Casey and our work, you know, working on Bigfoot 3, I'm finishing the artwork up and all of that. Awesome. But Casey is really taking the helm on writing our new side story that's going to be coming out in the fall. And so, and with a whole new artist, Justin Adcock. So how I've evolved, I've let go. Al, you know what? I've let go. I'm putting the trust in my team, you know, and Casey to, you know, steer the helm and bring new Bigfoot Knows Karate stories to the table while I'm working on the main storyline. And I think that's been a challenge at first to be able to let go of, you know, the project a little bit.
Absolutely.
But watching what Casey's doing. Yeah, well, baby's kind of a strong word, but you know, I mean, it's a toddler. It can walk, damn it. You know, so anyway, I'm excited about that. That's been my big thing. You know, otherwise, yeah, I'm drawing a lot. You
Wonderful. Know? What about you, Chris? Since our last chat, how has your skills evolved or your creative processes?
Well, for me, my skills have, well, I've upped the ante because now I have Lewis on colors. So I think last time we spoke, I was doing most of the stuff myself, and yeah, because we talked when I was doing issue 6,
Yeah.
And I did everything in issue 6 by myself. And that was a 3,000-hour book from start to finish. So when I went into issue 7, I brought Lewis in for colors because I can't do 42 books spending 3,000 hours a book. That's just impossible.
That's insane.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I brought Lewis in, and I just got the books today. So, if you want to see, just saying, if you want to see it, here you go.
Look
Hold
at
it in front of your chest, man.
There you go. Look at that. I'll put it right
there. You go, just like that. We could see.
There you go. Beautiful colors. He did a great job in this book. So I just got these in, and
let's see that back cover real quick, Chris.
This is Lewis's cover too.
Nice. That's awesome. Flip it to the back cover.
Oh,
look at that brand. Woo,
yep.
That's slicker than grease, dude. Sorry, just had to say that out loud.
Hey, man.
Got a nice little foil here for you too.
Oh, wait a minute. You got even more. Holy shit.
I got a lot. I got to show you this last one. This last foil. It's perfect timing because on Wednesday, the series that this is an homage to relaunches. And if you know that cover.
Oh, nice, bro. Young blood.
Yep. Which just coincidentally relaunches on Wednesday.
Yeah, funnily enough.
Yeah. So
I'm still waiting for Brigade, Rob. Give me anyway. Yeah,
shots fired, Al. Shots fired.
And Team No Sleep says that it is looking good right there, man. You already got a fan there. You're teasing. And this is like a strip club, except you're not throwing dollars at the screen yet. You will be at a couple of projects. We're going to be teasing you about what is coming down the lane for Home Brewed, which is pretty dope. Now, being that you guys are saying that you have built this squad, right? So if your team had a superhero name now, what would it be? And who's the wild card?
Oh, wow. He's going to put us on the spot like this?
Sure. Who's the wild card? That's funny. Well, we obviously we'd have to be the Critters. Okay,
I like that. I'll take
that. Sounds like a gang, son.
Yeah,
the wild card, man.
We had signals and stuff, but I can't do them. And who's the wild card? I don't know, man.
For me, it would be the titleless one because if he has no title, he's kind of upset.
Yeah, that is. There you go.
All right. So break it down. We're gonna start breaking it down, man. Because let me bring this baby up here, man. Because we got to run down some stuff. What a beautiful press kit first cover here. I mean, so this is the characters, of the HBC universe right here.
Yep.
Look at that.
And this was done. The art was done by Dennis Valencia. Our Maverick, if you will. And he did a great job taking characters from each of the titles and putting them in there. I mean, it's spectacular. I wouldn't say this is a shared universe or anything like that, but just to clarify. But yeah, he did an amazing job putting that together.
The multiverse makes things happen, guys.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And let's get to the Home Brewed again. Dope. I love the presentation. We got some projects going to be talking about, man. My man Chris's project right here, bro. Let's start talking about this in this universe of this upcoming Kickstarter. Focus the link right there. All right. I mean, talk about this because what is popping in the universe is C.R.I.T now, baby.
What's going on in the universe is a lot. So, the last book, which I just showed you, which is about the ship, that one kind of starts to open up the world a bit. My brand of storytelling has been, using my D&D story. So everything you read did happen at our table. Everything's decided by the dice. And when I was crafting the story to begin with, I had to do more character-based narration for my players. So everything was based upon them for the first little bit so they could get used to the setting, get used to the rules, get used to the whole entire, gimmick of playing D&D as yourself as a superhero. So that's what you really see in the first 5 books is their perspective. It's very character focused. So you get to know who C.R.I.T is.
Because in the game, you know, that those first few sessions was all about them learning their character. So you're getting that bird's eye view from their perspective. Now that we've learned more about the characters and there's some things going on, now we're going to expand on the universe a bit. And in book 6, you see that start to happen. They've branched off from their employer. They're doing their own thing. The universe is really opening up. Like the world they live in is becoming lived in for the reader. Issue 7 opens that up a little bit more with saying, okay, there's bigger things. You know, let's create some a couple of stress points and let's introduce some really cool new villains. And now issue 8 is going to be telling some backstory and introducing a character that I've been dying to talk about in this series, which is King Arthur. He's one of the, you know, big characters in the story. We start to learn more about him and his role in this universe in issue 8, which is launching on Kickstarter in 16 days. You know, all the covers are, they tell a story of King Arthur in some way if you look at it. And we do have a 5th cover coming from Lewis. He's working on one right now. You know, there's a lot to unpack in the next issue, and it's the first time that you see 2 different perspectives. You see the hero's perspective and then another perspective in the same book. So nice. It's got this back and forth style of storytelling that I'm not going to give it all away. Back to Kickstarter, read the book, but it's a new flavor for Crit, and it's the first book that does not only have 2 words in the title. I've only ever used 2 words. This one stands out because it's called He Who Would Be King, and that is a direct reference to King Arthur. So you kind of get that feel for it.
The excitement builds. Beautiful. And you're talking about this baby. It's going to go live on May 1st, correct?
April 30th.
April 30th. Oh, snap, folks. Get that money ready. You have enough time, no excuse. That's the link right there. So they could hit that link right there and get ready for the pre-launch and make sure they get notified and get that ding-a-ling hit.
Yes, please. We're at 45 notifications right now. I'd love to hit 50.
Let's go, folks. Today, as you watching, as you tuning in, I see you have more than enough right now watching. You know, go visit that. Right, I will be adding these to the show notes as well to make life easier. But let's support independent comics. I'm looking forward to this, man, because this is a badass title right there. All right, so let's continue to see what else the HBC is up with. All right, Caspian Porta Numero Uno. So talk about this. What's popping here? Who's this?
Want me to go? Dan.
I'll take it. Dan's doing sign language. Like, oh, I'm trying to speak.
I'll take this one, and Caspian Porter, you take Celestial Knight and Bigfoot.
Okay.
We're divide and conquer.
We're dividing and conquering. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm a huge sci-fi fan, so I've been a real big advocate of Drew's. And this Drew is through and through a sci-fi guy, which I learned really early on, which is another reason why I was happy to partner with him. Caspian Porter is, I described this the other day. If you've seen The Fifth Element, John, when he wakes up, you know, he starts to go to work. You clearly know he's like a crappy cab driver. Like he's really not good at his job because he just doesn't care. That's like the perfect perspective of Caspian, in my opinion. And Drew could argue with me, but when I read the book the first time, I was like, oh, I get, you know, Fifth Element vibes with John going to work. Like, I just don't want to do this. Screw this. I hate this job. You know, having the worst day at work possible. And then he gets thrust into this whole string of bad luck, which some of it I would argue is partially his own fault. But it has this like space spelunking kind of sci-fi meets, you know, mystical kind of stuff. And he's got a talking trash can. So, you know,
talking trash.
Well, there's the robot. When I first saw it, I was like, is that a talking trash can? And Drew was like, no, it's a robot. I was like, to me, it's always going to be a talking trash can. It's just never, you know, I love the design. I love the attitude the robot has. And really, like, it's just for fans of sci-fi, fans of, you know, if you like Star Wars, not actual Star Wars with Jedi, but the other side stories that deal with, you know, like spice running and things like that. it's a very fun sci-fi title with some good tongue-in-cheek humor.
And how did this come up across you guys' lane? How did you meet Drew and have this coming, to the HB crew?
Oh, so Drew, how did I get to know Drew first? I'm trying to think. I met Drew because we were both tied in with Indie Comics Dispatch. And he was doing a bunch of anthologies for them. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So like this guy likes sci-fi. He likes, we just had some crossings there. And then he asked me if I wanted to be part of a sci-fi book he was working on. Unfortunately, that year I couldn't do it. I came back last year and I did join him. And we've been working together really ever since. Like I want to say it's going on, 3 years now.
Oh, nice.
We've been working side by side. This is the first year that we're going to be, really heading up a company together. He's my co-publisher. Drew is really good with digital publishing. Like he knows all those formats. He knows how to navigate that. And he has a lot of information on those digital platforms that I just didn't. So when we came to the company side of things, I said, hey, if you want to take over digital distribution, I'll start working on physical because I love Comic Cons. I also worked in board game distribution and sales and marketing. So I know that world really well. And I said, hey, let me take over physical because I have more contacts there. You seem to have the digital side. And that's where we are.
Wonderful. Can't wait to see what that baby looks like. Oh, snap. Here comes the toddler, as Mr. Price wants to call him.
Oh, yeah, the little Bigfoot book that could, right? So, what's going on with Bigfoot? What's it all about? So I've always likened the book to Godzilla versus Kong meets Kill Bill with a twist of X-Files or Lost, whichever one you want to go. It's, it's the tale of a gentle yet deadly cryptid warrior, right? Who, it starts off with this cat who's just out there in the wilderness, defending those who can't defend themselves. And then, is being hunted down all of a sudden by Cthulhu. It's kind of, it takes a lot of twists and turns. And we end up finding out that our man Bigfoot here is really, really, hold on one second, guys, real quick.
Isn't it wonderful? Live podcast.
Okay. My dog's playing with a chew toy downstairs. Sorry if you can hear that. Anyway, this mysterious group has been hunting down this Bigfoot, who we end up finding out his name is Benny, and Benny is, in the last issue we saw in chapter 2, Born Under a Bad Sign. Benny was being held captive by this mysterious group who has control over all these cryptids. And, you start to ask the question, what's better, to be completely alone and isolated from the world where nobody knows you and nobody cares, to, oh my God, I'm completely surrounded by enemies and danger lurks everywhere I go. What's really better, And so we're picking up with chapter 3, Hellhound on My Trail. That's going to Kickstarter on May 14th. And it's a pretty exciting story because it picks right up where we left off, with Benny and his newfound friend Iris and the bunny on the run. And so I'm not going to get into too much with it because I really want you to read the book. But the fun part about it is, there's that chew toy again. The fun part about it is, all those questions that we've been asking, throughout the first couple of issues and even through Hinagon, we're going to start throwing some answers your direction, because I know that, how does he learn karate? I'm not going to tell you that, to be perfectly honest with you. You ain't going to find that out for a while. But a lot of other questions are going to get answered, and that, so that'll make it a lot of fun. If you have not read the first couple of books, I highly recommend you check out the campaign, because we do have issues 1 through 3 available, as well as Hinagon. And so we've got some killer covers for this book, including one from Lewis, pronunciation's the thing, I guess, that works with Chris. He has a cover for me this issue that he does a beautiful piece of Grisha. I have my regular cover. Adam Caswell's doing a deluxe edition variant, as well as one by Ghost House. If you're not familiar with his work, go check him out on Instagram. Check out all those cats on Instagram. Frankly, they're all amazing. And then, so yeah, we got some cool stuff happening on the Bigfoot campaign and in the campaigns at large. We will talk about this in a minute, but there is a shared piece that we're doing on all 3 campaigns that I can't wait to talk to you about a little bit more at length. But now we're at Celestial Night. All right. Celestial Night by Dennis R. Valencia. The doctor is in, folks. I got to meet Dennis around the same time, maybe a little bit before I really started talking to Chris. But I got to meet Dennis, 2020, I would have to say, somewhere around there. And let me tell you something. This cat has put together a killer book based on an idea he came up with when he was just a kid, high school age. The Celestial Night is a project that he came up with many years ago and has now turned it into just this kick-ass superhero. He's the Cape, but it's like it's a sci-fi space situation going on. There's this kid Jeremy. Jeremy's been given these amazing powers. He's got a dog, Norman. Norman is actually based on Dennis's actual dog, and so let me tell you, he's been given these powers. I mean, powers beyond belief. And the first issue came out. It was absolutely incredible. A lot of big fights, kaiju fights in the middle of Times Square type situation. Yeah, baby. So a lot of whoop ass. And so I can't wait to see issue 2. I cannot wait to see how this comes out. But before issue 2 of Celestial Night comes out, we have a really cool thing that we're doing, which is the 3rd campaign that takes place in June, which is the Caspian, the Celestial Night meets Caspian Porter or versus Caspian Porter crossover. Okay. And this is the Ash Can that they did here recently that's available right now on homebrewedcomics.com. You can check that out there. But this is the Ash Can. It's a kick-ass looking book. You got to see this. I mean, it's just, the artwork's phenomenal. It's the same gentleman who does the artwork for Caspian Porter. But I believe Dennis is doing the colors on this. Chris, am I correct on that? Yes. And so just beautiful, beautiful work. Definitely want to check that out over here at homebrewedcomics.com. But so the full book will be out, Celestial Night versus Caspian Porter, this June on Kickstarter. So definitely worth checking that out. I love Caspian Porter. I mean, he's Caspian's not making good choices. Let's just put it like that. he doesn't. He's not making good choices, and that's what makes him a lot of fun.
Well, obviously, you're going to be messing around with Celestial Night because this guy reminds me of a 90s powerhouse that you do not want to mess with.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to that crossover for sure.
I think that's going to be our first actual crossover between the characters, which is awesome.
Yep.
Because
we have some really big.
Because before you said, well, it's not really a connected universe, but then lo and behold, we have 2 connected books at least.
At least.
They cross over. They don't, they're
both cross. They exist with it, and they know of each other's existence. I feel that's pretty cool. And then look at this catalog too. In the retail, you guys are not fussing around anymore, man.
No,
not at all.
I love to see this growth, for real. And the fact that you guys join forces, and I'm seeing this, I'm like, whoa, you guys are, y'all about to take over some serious shit.
Well, man. The big deal for me when putting this team together was, not just talent, because there's a lot of talented people out there. It's the drive. Indie comics is not an easy game.
Oh, no.
It's really easy to get into thanks to Kickstarter and all of the different platforms that are available to people these days. Fund My Comic. I can list a bunch of like Indiegogo. There's all these different platforms that you can put your book on to get funded. But funding is one of the stressful parts, but it's also, in my opinion, like the easiest part is running the campaign. And I'm going to get kicked in the face a few times for saying that, because running a Kickstarter campaign is also a headache. But I will say it's probably the easiest part is putting your book on Kickstarter, promoting it, doing the shows like this and talking about your stuff. Like this is easy. Getting on Instagram.
This is the fun part.
Right. This is where you get to smile for a minute, but then you got to make the book, and either you're paying somebody to do that work and you're praying to God that this person comes through for you because you hear all the nightmare stories. I paid this guy for a book. He delivered half of it. He disappeared. Or, like, I'm not going to go into all those, but I'm sure we've all heard that story of like, I got screwed by an artist, or I got screwed by this person.
I got somebody that I know. I only got one page every 3 months. I'm like, what?
Right. Like we deal with that. And so then there's that headache. There's the headache of putting the book together. I will never forget. I saw somebody, literally taking their stuff to Staples because they didn't know how to get a hold of a printer, and they were posting pictures of like at Staples and folding the book in half. And I'm like, there's a lot of resources out there. The easiest part is saying I'm going to make a comic. The easiest part is talking about it. The hard part is actually delivering on it. And for me, it was important to bring guys together that have done this multiple times. And I feel bad for Dan because we're doing this like road show for all the Kickstarters. And I am going to repeat myself 100 times about this, but the average creator doesn't get past book 2. Dan is on his 4th, just with Bigfoot, not talking about his past books, but like his 4th Bigfoot book. Celestial Knight is to ship his 2nd book, and the crossover will be the 3rd. Drew, while you see, he's got 4 on here, but he's also got a whole backlog of anthologies and other books that man has done and fulfilled. And so we're not just coming out here with, hey, we're going to make stories and we're going to publish books and we're going to do all this. We have a proven track record of actually doing it.
Yeah.
Not to my own horn, but I'm 5 years in this month, and we're launching technically our 9th issue because we have issue 0.
Look at you, bro. Woof, Boston.
So 5 years, 9 books. That's
what's the collected experience? If you put all you guys' years of experience together, what's that collected years of experience? We're not getting to 100, are we?
Dan, how long have you been doing it?
2007. March of 2007 was my very first indie book.
So we got 18 years with you. I think Drew was 2014, so there's 11 years right there. I started drawing in 2019, so I've probably got the least amount of experience out of anybody. And then Dennis, Celestial Knight, the creation, I believe he said was 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Oh no, when he was 16.
He was 16.
So it's like 35 years ago.
Yeah.
Because he's in his 50s now, and I can say that because he's past 50. I know that. So, but I'll say Dennis, I think, has right around the same amount of time, about 5 years of actual indie comic experience. So Dennis and I are the babies in this group, but that's what almost you got.
Way over 30
almost
years.
40 years.
Yeah, almost 40
years. Doing my math here.
Experience across different dynamics, but across indie and crowdfunding and all that's amazing. Then you have each other to lean on. So as you said, the village is now born. The HBC village, baby. That's right. Exactly. You see, people love it right there. What a wealth of experience and talent right there from Kenneth. Bravo. He gives you a bravo. Wepa. That's right, kiddos.
Thank you. No, seriously, that means a lot. We're really hardworking, and that was another thing that was big to me. Homebrewed as itself, Homebrewed Heroes started in 2020. I shipped off issue 1 of C.R.I.T in 2020, and that was where I started. And so this is exactly 5 years. The Kickstarter that I'm launching in April, end of this month, I've remastered issue 1, so it's all brand new colors.
Oh, nice.
I've remastered issue 5. I'm coming into the game now with professional work across the board. Issue 1, like I said, I literally didn't even know what I was doing when I started this game. It was just talking to everyone I possibly could, getting the knowledge I could from the community, and doing it all wrong, and then figuring out, hey, this is how you do it. And when January hit, Drew and I think It was January 20th, if I'm not mistaken. We launched Home Brewed. We redid the entire branding, Home Brewed Comics. So it's a brand new start. Home Brewed Comics will be officially established, 2025.
Nice.
Leaving behind all the past, coming together as one collective and working towards one goal.
Now
I get a lot of questions.
Company picture, all of you guys dressed as your characters, and that's the company picture when you come into the HBC. No, you don't want to dress up like a hairy Bigfoot.
Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
Everybody starts twerking. They go there. Well, at least we'll get karaoke, I guess, from there. And there we go.
I'm too short to be anybody except for Boulder in my team. And everybody else is taller than me, and they're all my friends. So like, I'd be cosplaying as my friend. It'd be a lot of fun.
I had a birthday party years ago for my party that everybody had to come dressed as me, and I got to get dressed as anything I wanted. And since I hate dressing up, I just came as myself. So the photos from that are pretty fantastic because it's just a bunch of people with beards, glasses, and Astros caps. And my wife dressed up as me as a 7-year-old in a soccer uniform with the ball, and it was ridiculous. It was really funny. Great night. Sorry, off subject completely.
That's hysterical. That's how you celebrate birthdays too.
Yeah, you gotta have fun, damn it. So anyway.
All right, I need to know because again, we have people tuning in. You got all these wonderful books. L Team. Like, what's the con circuit looking like? Are you guys going to be doing conventions? Any appearances? Pick up some physical copies. What's going
on? Chris, you want to start us off on that?
Well, my first con will be IshCon next month. It's actually a toy convention in North Carolina.
What is it called?
Ish, ISH. Yeah, IshCon. And it just came across my table. I was like, you know what? This looks like fun. I've been looking for smaller Comic-Cons, to be honest with you. My experience last year was the smaller ones gave me more face-to-face time with actual readers. We do Heroes Con every year, which we will be doing, Dennis and I. But the smaller ones that I was doing, I was getting more people that would read the book and then give me feedback.
Yes.
I got more face-to-face time with people. And, I talk about the fact I come from music, and I was equating it last year to playing like your local show, like your floor show, your basement show, where it's smaller, it's more intimate. People aren't afraid to come talk to you. And, I played Warped Tour, and it's like you're one of a million, right? Yeah, like there's all these bands that day, and no one cares about you. But at these little shows you play, like in churches or like the small venues, everyone would come up to you and talk to you because it just felt more, intimate with them. And with Heroes Con, you have a lot of people. And we do really well table wise, and it's great networking with and meeting like some bigger talent. But the smaller shows are just so much more fun for me. I did NC Con last year. I'll be doing it again this year in November. And we do have an application at New York Comic Con. So if that gets approved, I'll be going. But they haven't approved us yet.
No, you're getting in. Don't you worry. We'll put that mega source out there. All right. To the gods, you're going to go because that's the show I go to. We'd love to see you guys there.
Dude, that would be so badass to get to hang out with Al Mega.
Oh yeah, well, and that won't stay, so I could kind of look like my man, karate. I dress in a suit.
There you go.
I'll try.
All right.
An old version because I refuse to die.
Fair enough.
All right, I'm digging it. So, all right. So, where we at the shows? So Dan, you doing anything on the side yourself?
Yeah, I got some shows. I've got. Let me go over here. Okay, so 2 weeks from now, April 25th through the 27th, I will be at South Texas Comic Con in McAllen, Texas. It's about a 5-hour hike for me, so that'll be a drive. But that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I've never been to this show before. May 3rd, I'm going to be at Austin Books and Comics for Free Comic Day. Come early because they're expecting anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000, 3,000 people, something like that.
Christ,
yeah. They said on the minimum they're going to have 1,000 people show up at this thing. So myself, Drew Edwards, and oh my God, I'm sorry, Zach Chapman. I forgot your name for a second there. So Zach, Drew, and myself will be there at Austin Books and Comics that day. The next month, or later in that month, you can find me at Dallas Fan Expo, May 30th through June 1st. And then June 14th, I'll be ending my campaign on the same day at Big Alpaca Comics, where I'm doing a store signing in San Antonio. So that's it for right now. There's more, but I won't bore you all with all of it.
There you go. So doing a signing at that last day and celebrating a funding, I'm sure.
Let's hope. You know,
I ain't hoping. We're manifesting. It's happening.
We're manifesting. I'm going to tap. I got my little taps. For my chakras. I'm in. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's do it. You know, whatever it takes, right?
I'm digging it. All right. So, Chris, since you're the boss here, man. This is the baby. You're building a unit like Voltron, right? What is the one sentence pitch you'd scream from the mountaintop to tell people why they need HB Comics and their universe?
I get one sentence.
It's a one sentence pitch. We're in the elevator. I'm about to get off in the next floor or the second. And if I turn around and I see your T-shirt, what's this all about? Why do I need to buy that?
If you like, that's good. So if you like quality stories written by fans of comic books for fans of comic books, check out Home Brewed Comics.
I like that. Nice and honest, easy peasy. Yeah, I like that. And I'll be okay. I'm a fan of comics. I might have to check y'all out. Let me get your card. All right, let's go. Let's check it out. I dig it, folks. There's the links you got to follow. The most important one right now is you need to check out the website. Get all the deets, man, of what's going on at homebrewedcomics.com. And you can follow these two gentlemen, this dynamic duo right here. You can follow Dino Mike 139, and of course Chris at Home Brewed Comics. Again, I'm going to put all the links to the Kickstarter projects that are coming up. All right, they're pre-launch. Let's get up these numbers, get notified, and support independent comics, man. Listen, I was pleasantly surprised by this and everything you guys are doing. I'm like, all right, bet a new player in the game about to kick some ass. Fuck yeah, bro. I'm digging it. Proud of you guys since our last visit to see this wonderful growth. And again, and a shout out to all you Crusaders out there too tuning in. I see y'all. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you that chimed in as well, I appreciate you, Kenneth and Team No Sleep and Danny. Thank you, and everybody else again that's just lurking back there. All right, I appreciate y'all. And again, you guys rock. You know what it is. Check out everything Comic Crusaders at comiccrusaders.com. Same thing on social, just Comic Crusaders, except YouTube, where it's Comic Crusaders World. All right. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Es Omega. Wepa! Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.